Defaults, your personal preferences, looks for CLAUDE.md files if you're running in a fully sandboxed. Okay, Claude Code, Decoded, episode 2. Today we open the source. Specifically, we trace the path of what happens when you type the word Claude in your terminal and press enter. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which code runs first, what gets loaded, in what order, and how Claude ends up sitting at that interactive prompt ready to take your first message. This is the foundation. Everything else in this series builds on what loads in the first few 100 milliseconds. 3 things to understand up front. 1, Claude is just a Node.js binary installed via npm. When you run Claude in your terminal, your shell finds the executable on your path and Node starts up. That sounds boring, but it matters because everything from that point is JavaScript. There's no native binary, no compiled Rust, just a clever TypeScript program. 2, the startup sequence is layered. Argv parsing happens first, then config discovery, top down from system to project to user, then MCP servers wake up, then the tool registry gets built, then permissions resolve, then the session is created, then finally the agentic loop kicks off. Each of those layers has its own logic, and any of them can refuse to let Claude start. 3, almost everything is configurable through flags and config files. The default behavior is reasonable, but Claude Code is one of the most flexible CLIs in the developer tool space. Knowing the entry sequence makes that flexibility usable. Now let me walk you through the entry sequence in plain English first before we get to the code. When you type Claude, your shell finds the binary. Node starts. The very first thing the code does is parse the command line arguments using a library that supports flags like --print, --continue, --resume, --model, --output format. Each flag changes a downstream decision. For example, --print tells Claude to run in non-interactive mode, output a single response, and exit. --continue tells Claude to resume the most recent session in this project directory. After Argv parsing, Claude needs to know your settings. There's a config discovery cascade. Enterprise managed settings load first if your organization has them, then user settings from your home directory, then project settings from the current working directory tree, then local settings, the gitignore override file. Lower layers can override higher layers. So you can have organization defaults, your personal preferences, project-specific overrides, and machine-specific local tweaks all at once. So in the next 6 minutes, let me walk you through each of those stages with the source code visible, explain what each piece of code does, what the purpose is, and what the use case looks like for you as a Claude Code user. Okay, let's go step by step through the entry sequence with code in mind. Stage 1, Argv parsing. Claude Code uses a popular node argument parser to declare all its top-level flags. The pattern looks like this conceptually. You define each option, give it a short and a long name, give it a type, give it a default value, and optionally a description. The parser reads your Argv, validates it, and returns a structured object. The use case here is Claude Code needs to support a large set of invocation modes: interactive default, non-interactive with print, continue last session, resume specific session, output format JSON, append system prompt, permission mode, override. Each of those is just a flag, but it changes everything downstream. When to look at this code, when you want to add a flag or understand why a particular invocation behaves the way it does. Stage 2, config discovery and merge. This is where Claude figures out who you are, where you are, and how you want to behave. The cascade is deterministic. First, it reads manage settings. If your organization has installed an enterprise config that lives in a system path, if present, it sets the baseline that no user override can break. Then user settings from tilde/dot claude/settings.json. This is your personal preferences. Then project settings from .claude/settings.json in the current directory or any parent directory up to your home. This is the team's shared project configuration. Then local settings .claude/settings.local.json. This is your local override that should be git ignored. The merge logic is lower layers override higher layers for most fields, but a managed setting marked as enforced cannot be overridden. The use case for you as a user is you can set up your project's shared rules, then override individually on your machine without affecting your team. Stage 3, CLAUDE.md discovery. After settings, Claude looks for CLAUDE.md files, which provide context that gets injected into every prompt. The discovery is similar to settings user CLAUDE.md from tilde/.claude. Then project CLAUDE.md, walking up from your current directory, then local CLAUDE.md. All of them get concatenated and prepended to the initial context. The purpose is you can give Claude persistent instructions that apply automatically without you typing them each session. The use case is project conventions, code style preferences, frameworks you use, anything you'd repeat across conversations. Stage 4, MCP server initialization. If your settings declare MCP servers, Claude starts them now. Each MCP server is a separate process that Claude spawns and communicates with via stdio. The startup is parallel for efficiency. Each server registers its tools and resources with Claude's tool registry. The purpose is MCP is how you extend Claude Code with custom tools. The use case is you connect Claude to your GitHub, your Linear, your databases, your internal APIs, all through MCP. When you understand this stage, you understand why MCP server bugs feel like a slow Claude startup. Bad MCP servers slow everyone down. Stage 5, tool registry build. After MCP servers register their tools, Claude adds its built-in tools to the same registry. Read, write, edit, bash, grep, glob, task, web fetch, web search, todo write, and others. The registry validates that two tools have the same name. Tools get associated with their schemas, which Claude will validate against when the model tries to call them. The purpose of this stage is by the time the prompt loop starts, Claude knows exactly which tools are available, what they accept, and what they return. The use case for you is this is what determines what Claude can do. If a tool isn't registered, Claude can't use it. Stage 6, permission mode resolution. Claude decides which permission mode to run in. The modes are default, plan, accept edits, bypass permissions. Each mode controls whether tool calls require user approval, whether file edits are auto-applied, and whether dangerous operations are allowed. The mode comes from a flag, a setting, or the default. The purpose is safety. The use case for you is plan mode. If you want Claude to think before doing, accept edits if you trust Claude to apply file edits without confirmation, bypass permissions if you're running in a fully sandboxed environment. Stage 7, session creation. Claude creates a session object that holds the conversation state. The session has an ID, a directory it was started in, the message history, the active tool registry, the permission mode, and a few other things. If you ran with continue or resume, this session is hydrated from disk, otherwise it's fresh. The purpose is every interaction with Claude Code happens in the context of a session. The use case is you can resume a session by ID later. Sessions get archived for transcript history debugging. Stage 8, the agentic loop starts. The CLI hands off to the main event loop, which reads your input, sends it to Claude with the full context, gets a response, runs any tool calls, repeats. That loop is its own thing, and we cover it in detail in episode 3. For today, the important thing is by the time you see the prompt, everything we just walked through has run in order in milliseconds. Quick recap. Claude Code starts with Argv parsing, then config discovery from managed to user to project to local, then CLAUDE.md cascade, then MCP server boot, then tool registry, then permission mode, then session creation, then the loop starts. Every piece of this is intentional and configurable. Understanding the order means you can predict and debug startup behavior. Tomorrow in episode 3, we go inside the agentic loop, the actual heart of Claude Code. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a comment with which stage you most want me to deep dive further. See you tomorrow.